to Changing the Sales Game on webtalkradio.com. I'm your host, Connie Whitman. My guests and I are excited that you're joining us this week. So here's the deal. Changing anything in our world can be a little bit unsettling, especially when we're looking to change our sales game. And by the way, we all have some role in sales, right? Whether we're selling our idea to our boss, we're selling to a client, directly, or I have a business, selling is part of who we are. So to help you navigate whatever change you're looking for in your sales game, in the show notes, you'll find my gift, which is my communication style assessment. My gift to you. I believe that for us to get better in life, I don't care what aspect of life, we have to be pretty good at communicating. So in the show notes, you'll get 2 reports after taking the little quiz. One will spotlight just your natural communication superpowers, how your message lands naturally, no effort on your part. Flip side, your lowest score, that is usually a blind spot. So when you're communicating with people 180 degrees different than you, how's your message landing? So really dig into that report, take a peek, so you fully understand what that opposite style looks like and how you can navigate a little bit more smoothly. 25% or actually 20% of the time, we're talking to people who speak just like us. That's great. What about the 8 out of 10 people or 80% of the time? So make sure you look at that secondary report. Trust me, it is a blind spot that you have and you might not even know it. Okay, my gift to you. Now, let's set the stage for today's conversation. So I chose a quote by Mike Allton, and Mike says, work the long game. You don't want your relationships to last 6 to 8 months. You want it to last for years. So this quote really, it called my name because I'm all about the relationship. We really do have to play the long game. We have to be patient. We have to have the right marketing. We have to have the right sales approach. And for me, this is the bottom line. We have to truly care about our clients. And if we do it right, the results end up being incredible. We build those deep, trusting relationships that actually create a pipeline filled with potential of passive income and referrals. But we have to create it in order for that to happen. And it is the easiest way to make your sales results with literally zero effort. Now, your connection to your best customers starts long before you know who they are. My guest and I, we're going to dig in and we're going to discuss some of her best tactics for building relationships with your following and then converting them into these happy clients. And trust me, it's easier than you think. So who is this awesome guest that I speak of? Well, she is a self-proclaimed data nerd. Her name is Rebecca Bertoldi, and she's created countless data-driven strategies for small local businesses, tech startups, and then even multi-8-figure global businesses. She was part of the personal development leader, Mary Morrissey's marketing team, who's well-renowned, and her unique experiences help her craft compelling campaigns that connect with her clients' audiences, increasing that brand outreach and ultimately profitability. When she's not creating campaigns, you could find Rebecca at her home in Connecticut with her husband and her fur babies. So please help me welcome Rebecca to the show. Thanks for being on, Rebecca. This is, marketing, sales. They are married, my sister.
They are.
And yeah, we need to be skilled at both to make this whole sales game, I think, just a little bit easier, a little bit more fun, and get the ick out of it completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm always curious. So this is like kind of a typical question I ask my guests, but what attracted you to marketing and the job you're doing right now?
What's funny is it's really the psychology that attracted me to marketing. And I started my career in graphic design. And then I started working with marketers and doing design work for them. And I was just like, ooh, look at this. I can study human behavior through ads and all of this other stuff. And then forget it. Once digital came around and you can get like instant results, I was so hooked. And luckily, I am blessed with a tech brain. So it all kind of really came naturally to me.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah,
finds you, right? The job finds you sometimes.
yes, it does.
Yeah, I tell young people that are in my classes, I tell my kids, Trust me, just keep building skill. You're going to
Mhm.
find out like, ugh, that is not for me. That's a good education, right? You know what you don't want to do. And then every once in a while you go, oh, I kind of like, I'm good at that, right? Without really thinking about it. So the job really does end up finding you. But you kind of got to put just a little effort out there, try different things. And then I think clarity finds you when you hit the right mark. So that's so cool that you're a data nerd. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
So I
right.
can
So
look at big sets of data and get action from it. So that's like a one of my superpowers. So
that's a good superpower.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So now the digital world, I know it has changed drastically, right, since
Mm.
COVID. So what really has changed in that digital landscape that you've seen now that we're kind of past COVID? I mean, it's still here, but it's like the flu, right? So where are we with digital marketing now?
So it really did push us all to be a bit more digital in the way we approach things. There were so many businesses that were continuing to rely on more traditional types of marketing, whether that be mailing or doing in-person events and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then COVID was like, nope, everything's digital now. So for a while, during the pandemic, we saw so many great campaigns happening online, like doing Facebook ads and doing Google ads because everybody was home. And now there's still so much push to do things online, but you have people that were kind of like, okay, I'm done with the screens for now. So now we're kind of leveling out again, which is great.
Yeah.
And people are definitely more comfortable with doing things in a digital and a virtual setting than they used to be. I remember when everyone started hopping on Zoom when the pandemic started. They're like, "Have you heard of Zoom?" I'm like, "I've been using Zoom for years." Yes, it was something for me that I was already in that space, and everyone kind of came in and joined me there. So it's been a really great way to get people to embrace digital marketing in their lives. But it was also like a crash course for a lot of people. So now we get to see how buyer behavior has changed. People are more willing to buy online. They're more willing to work with the individual people that they're seeing out there. They don't necessarily want to work with big companies anymore. They want to work with you.
Yeah.
So everyone has their own superpower and their own way of attracting new customers, and they're really buying from you than anything else.
You know what the funny thing is, Rebecca, yeah, and that has people buy from you because humans were emotional. We buy out of emotion. Everybody thinks I have to give them the logic, the features and the benefits. Yes, you have to do that. You have to give the benefits to what's in it for the client, but you have to connect with them human to human. And there is so much psychology that goes behind the marketing, certainly. But even when we're in front of people, that's why my communication, my CSA little quiz, it's valuable because how am I showing up? Doesn't matter what you think you're showing up. It's how am I actually showing up? And now we have the data that actually we can look at the analytics behind it to determine, well, that didn't work, or how I phrased that email didn't work, and we can really get into the weeds pretty quickly and get a good response. And I want to comment. I was one of the old school people. So pre-COVID, I really did everything live, Rebecca. I spoke live, I taught live. I had to travel to my clients. Interesting. I did do the crash course. So while everybody was watching Netflix, I was working 12-hour days, 7 days a week, taking whatever class I could, digital, Google Analytics, trying to understand because I didn't know where I fit in. So I
Mhm.
literally had to reinvent myself, just like many businesses, right?
Yeah.
I'm nothing special here. I mean, a lot of businesses did that, but I had to do the crash course. And the other thing, I have one client left that wants live. So we'll probably do some hybrid with them. But all my other clients, the value, and I do want to share this with everybody because it's important. The value of the digital. So like my 7-step sales class, right? It's a 7-week or 8-week program, depending on the client. And we can dial in. They watch a video, they do the homework, they send me the homework, I edit, right? Goes back. Then we get into the class and we role play what all of that work did, right? But now they have an edited version. If I did that class in one day, I could never dial in and get in the weeds with them
Oh.
like I can with this. So the learning is exponential. That's number one. Number two, we can hold people accountable now. They
Mhm.
weren't in class. Why? They didn't do the homework. Why? So the back end has all this analytics that, and not to get people in trouble. That's not what accountability means, but it holds them accountable so that if they do have an issue, they're letting us know up front. And then, but they still have time to catch up and do the homework after the fact. So everybody is learning. We're not leaving anybody behind. And I'm finding that we're really digging in even at a better level, right? The retention is exponentially better. So this digital thing, it's here to stay, just like the internet, right? They didn't think the internet was going to last in the 80s. And now look at us. Here's my next question with that said. So
Mhm.
how can businesses, salespeople, whatever, right? People like me and you, how do we stand out from all the noise now? Because there's just so much out there because everybody's digital now.
Definitely. So a lot of times what I have seen working is when like still using lead magnets. So when you are offering something that will solve a quick problem for people
Mm-hmm.
instead of just trying to sell them. You know how hard it is to sell to a very cold audience unless it's
Yeah.
like Christmas and you're going shopping for people to get them to take action on anything is really difficult. And when you're in business, you're getting hit with all these ads from all different places because your digital trail is letting the platforms know that you are in business for yourself and that you would likely want to see those ads. So when you are getting those ads, you're starting to tune them out. We're up to about 10,000 ads we see a day, which is crazy.
Wow.
When I was in college, it was like 7,000, and I thought that was crazy. So it's really, getting up there,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that we're being sold all the time, and we never want to feel like we're being sold. Like that's not a great experience.
Yeah.
So lead magnets have done really well for my clients because the ads for getting leads will cost less than the ads for getting sales. So if you're looking at a cost per acquisition kind of standpoint. So the lead magnets, they don't have to be, I mean, a lot of times they were ebooks forever.
Yeah.
They don't have to be ebooks. It's really about how your ideal client wants to consume information. So if we take a look at it as, okay, maybe you can do like a mini course or a couple of videos, like a video training series. In some cases, it can be quizzes. If you have people, it's like a B2C kind of situation. Quizzes can do really well there as well. So having something that is going to provide value to that customer is going to be great. And then the other thing that you want to do is meet them where they are in the buyer's journey. So if I am maybe not, I'm maybe problem aware, but not solution aware, that would be one kind of lead magnet. If I am solution aware, that would be something completely different. And you want to make sure that whenever you're planning those things out, that you're able to see the path that they're going through to lead them to your paid product.
And that all can be figured out on the back end, right? Through the
Oh,
analytics, we can see where the stoppage is, if you will,
exactly.
right? In the numbers, because the numbers don't lie with that raw kind of data. So if I'm humming along and then all of a sudden my third email dies on the vine and I get zero response, it's clear. First two, we had some traction. The lead magnet was the first thing. Then there's two emails, and the third email, right? There's no leverage there. There's no escalation. We know that something we did or said in that campaign just didn't resonate with the audience. So the analytics on the back end, the computers, the technology is so advanced. I mean, now with Chat GPT and everything, it's just so advanced that we really can dial in, I think, much more quickly than we could have even when I started my digital journey, in 2020.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, back in like 2010, when I was using Facebook ads, it used to be a lot easier because Facebook was like, okay, advertise and you're going to get stuff. And now they have made it so that you are now paying for the type of action that you want. So it's a bit more to go after sales or leads versus just wanting engagement on your post and things like that. So they have figured out how to identify the people that are going to take action, and we as advertisers get to invest in that to pay for it.
Yeah.
But that's why I usually like to do the lead magnets, because those come in at a lower price per acquisition, cost per acquisition, and then you have them in your system, because regardless of what Facebook does or Google does with their algorithms, you
Yeah.
having your own email list is going to be so valuable because you own that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, Rebecca. When I do this show, I always ask my guests because I love supporting, right, my listeners, because they're listening, they're tuning in every week. To me, I appreciate that, right? So how can I constantly give back and support them, right? Whoever them is out there. And so, like you, we have a gift at the end that is a valuable gift based on this topic. So I remember I had one young lady, my other podcast, Enlightenment of Change. I met her through networking. She makes jewelry. She didn't make this particular piece of jewelry I'm wearing today, but she's phenomenal. So I followed her. I went on her website. I bought a couple of pieces. And then I reached out to her and we started talking. She was building a program. So I said, why don't you come on the show? Let me help you support. Let's get you out there. You're so good at what you do with the stones, the energy, the jewelry, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I said, well, do you have a free gift? She goes, oh, I don't know what that is. So I explained what a lead magnet is. She created this beautiful PDF, a booklet, but it went through what each of the stones are, what the energy is,
Nice.
representation. If you're new to this, these are the key stones that you should have. How do you clean them? How do you, the shapes of them, all of this stuff. It was beautiful. So anyway, we do the show. The reason there is a point to the story, everybody listening, you're like, yeah, Connie, get to the point. So we do the show. She puts the lead magnet in. I saw her a couple of months later. I asked her to make a couple of pieces of jewelry for gifts that I wanted to give. And I said, by the way, how did your lead magnet, the PDF? She had over 200 people click. And she said, Connie, that's amazing. I said, well, now it's not necessarily that she made sales to those 200 people, but I said, now they can follow what you're doing. They can join you on Facebook. They could go to your website, right? She can send out newsletters. And I says, now you're staying in touch with those 200 people that resonated with you, had an interest in the stones. They could become sales after you nurture them. So it's just opening the door and letting them kind of view and decide, do I want to walk through? That's the power of a lead magnet. Now, you're not going to make 200 sales right out of the gate, but she might make 10% over the next 2 years. So 20 sales just from being on a podcast, zero cost to her other than her time. That's what we're talking about. So do you want to add to that? Because I think I want everybody to really understand the power of these gifts. It gives the person that's clicking on the gift to get to know you. 5 months, 6 months, a year from now, they might turn around and say, I'm ready for Rebecca now. I'm ready for Connie now. That's the point of that.
Definitely, because we're seeing like about at least 10 touch points with people online till maybe will have some kind of investment with you.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get those touch points in, without really knowing who's there. So when you have them in your system, you can see and
Yeah.
schedule and create all of those touch points. And they don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be real time. I build automated things for people all the time that will bring them through, 4 or 5 different, I don't want to say products, but experiences,
Options
let's
off.
say.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it brings them through there. They're getting a chance to maybe see a video that shows what the business, if it's a coach or something like that. I work with a lot of coaches. You can see how they teach. So a lot of times people need to, especially when you're service based, they need to experience what it's like to work with you.
Yeah.
Because, for example, like I've purchased online courses from people that I read their books, and then I can't listen to them talk because like the way, whatever it is about the way they're talking or the way they deliver information, I wasn't able to listen to the whole thing. So you never know what it's going to be like when you see something on the screen versus like hearing them. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to do that. And the reality is that people have checked you out well before they're in your view here. So they're following you on social media, maybe they're seeing, stuff out in the world, and they're getting to know you from there. And it's when
Yeah.
you finally have that lead magnet in front of them that's like, oh, they're going to be able to solve my problem. Then it really starts to build that relationship.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's happened, right? I
Mhm.
I do the show. I had my lead magnet. I've been on a million podcasts. I spoke on a million stages, right? All of these opportunities where people heard me, started following me. And then a couple of years ago, I did a webinar, still kind of during COVID, and I had quite a few people show up. And a bunch of people bought my offer at the end. I didn't know who they were. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited, because I love meeting new people. And I said, how did you hear about me? They go, oh, I saw you speak at whatever that stage was, whether it was virtual or live. I've been following you. I've been following your podcast. And then when the webinar, I was like, oh, I'm interested in that. And then through the webinar, it was like you were talking directly at me, but they knew what they were getting because I am who I am, right? The way I sound here is the way I sound in training. So you're exactly right. They knew me before they bought from me, but it had to be me that was shining for them to get to know me before they had the situation where, hey, I really need her now. So you never know where that's going to happen. It can happen with the first touch. It can happen with the 10th touch, but you got to be consistent. And that's what you're talking about by having these scheduled out. That consistency is what builds that rapport, even though it's in the digital world, which opens the door to the sale, right? So that's why it's all working together beautifully. But we have to understand it. And that's why people like you, who data nerds, we need you because you see this data, but what does it mean, right? So you can really get into the weeds and say, here's a glitch, this is working, let's leverage that. It creates clarity for the person who's trying to get the message out. I have another question. With all the noise out there, how do we build a personal connection online? Yeah, I do the email. Yeah, I do my emails, but how do we make it? Because, I'm all about the personal touch. How do we make it personal for the person receiving our messaging?
So one of the things that's a great question. One of the things that I love is when I'm building out these experiences, it's not just all email. I like to add in certain things. So maybe there's going to be, all right. So for example, I was working with a coach. We were putting together her 10-week program. And, I was pointing out areas that we need to add some emotion and human touch in there. And you were right that, people do buy with emotion. They try to find the logic to justify that purchase,
Yes.
but all purchases are emotional purchases. And there's ways to make sure that you're hitting, all of the different personality types out there. So when we are planning something out, a nice funnel, or even a course, having those moments sprinkled in goes such a long way. So for example, the coach that I was helping in there, you would create your vision. And then after that's her like week 2. So right after they complete that, it cues somebody on her team to reach out with a phone call and say, would you like to do a vision calibration session? And then gets them, it's like a 15-minute thing. And then now they're interacting with the coach, even though this is a self-guided course, they're interacting with the coach and she's giving them feedback on what they've created. So they know that they're moving forward in the way that they're supposed to. It builds up confidence there. And then once they make it to other points, she'll have like little homework things. So like one of the things that we put in there was to step outside of your comfort zone, and to record a video and forgive yourself for anything that you've done in the past that you're not so proud of. And we were able to set it up where they get a text message and it's the coach on there with her video saying, hey, I just wanted to show you an example of how this video works so that you feel good about it. And she does the example with you. And at other times we're able to send out those kinds of videos and she's like, hey, I recorded this video for you today. And it feels very personal. But we have all of those scheduled in. We have the phone calls, we have emails, and then we also give them a community to come together. And we gamify things. So gamifying is also another great way to get them to experience more of your content and get points to earn something that they would want.
I love the gamification. I think that is so much fun. And I've always had games in my training. So like when I did the live coaching, we start with a paddleball exercise and everybody goes, paddleball? Like, what are we doing? Right. So it gets everybody silly and loose and then they're open to learning. Right. So it's everything we do, I believe, from a teaching perspective, forget the sales for a minute. Just from a teaching perspective, what you're describing, it's like little teachings throughout whatever that campaign is, but it spotlights who the person is. It's adding value, not crap, right? It's adding real value, sharing those videos of, hey, I just did one. Here's an example, right? People telling people and showing people are two very different things.
Very.
Most humans learn through the telling and showing combo, right? That I understand what you want me to do. Now you're showing me what to do. Now I could do that, right? So it's this multi-sensory way of learning. So we have to do multi-sensory way of reaching out, teaching, etc. Why have funnels gained so much popularity? Because what you're describing is a funnel. So maybe
Yep.
what is a funnel? Maybe explain that for anybody who doesn't really know what that is. And why are they still gaining popularity and not like, yeah, same old kind of vibe?
So a funnel is really a guided path that you're bringing somebody through to create an experience with them that builds that trust, that maybe walks them through a program. You can have funnels for almost everything. I mean, I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So, and it can be as simple as someone joins your email list and then you send them a series of emails that are introducing them to your content, that show them where to find extra support, that tell them what to expect from your emails, how frequently they're going to be. So you can build out anything like that. I've also built out like 300-piece funnels that bring people through an entire event flow and get that, like they can be 5 pieces, or they could be, hundreds of pieces. So there's definitely different shapes and sizes of funnels. And I think that they're getting more, still getting more popular because what we're able to do continues to evolve.
Yeah.
So, like the things that we're able to include in our funnel, it used to be something like a very basic, like you get to a landing page and you make a purchase, and then that was it. But now we can say, we can, hold people's contact information as we bring them through different pages and make it so they don't have to fill it out again. There's a lot of things that we can do to make it easy. We can have urgency in there. There's just so many more tools available to us. I recently became a high level agency about a year ago. And high level, I have found, I've worked with other software before, and high level is an all in one marketing dashboard that I can offer people under my agency. And it allows, the tracking is the biggest thing, as of course, coming from a data nerd, I need to track everything. So that platform allows my coaches and clients to have everything from their websites, the CRM in one place. They can set up an affiliate program. They can create communities that gamify. I mean, there's just so much in there that I'm able to save people money and get them all the tools they need. So tools like that continue to evolve. Like every 4 days, I feel like they add something new. And just with AI, we're able to do even more to customize that experience.
I love that. And see, that's the thing too. I have peers out in the marketplace and they'll say things to me like business owners,
Mhm.
oh, the technology is beyond me. And it hurts me because I think you have this great business, you have this great content or teaching, whatever it is, right? And you're leaving money on the table and you're not helping the people that you should be helping because the technology is beyond you. That's not a good excuse because we can hire people like you, right? I say it all the time. People go, oh, marketing and sales. I go, they're two different things. Please do not lump us.
Together, but yeah.
They're married, right? They they
Yeah.
they work well together. But I would never say, Rebecca, oh yeah, I could help you with your copy. Never would that come from my mouth. I could look at it and say, doesn't land right for me, but I don't know why. You need
Right.
to talk to an expert. I'm not that expert. So that's the other thing I think that we create. These funnels are really good because we're getting to that right person. And to say the technology is beyond me, we have people we can hire like you that can help us navigate that. We don't have to be an expert in everything. It's not possible. And as a business owner, I don't want to do that because that's not my jam. It doesn't bring me joy. So why would I do it when I can leverage you and then do my business, right? Get more leads and then talk to people. I want to be with people. I want to be teaching. That's my jam. So I agree. I think the technology is so cool out there now. I am so in awe when I learn things like you just described. I'm like, oh my God, that I don't want to learn it, but cool thing, right? It's cool that this is available to us out there. Now you just need the expert to be able to run it for you. We have time for one more question. Um, where can we find, or me as the end user, right? Where can I find info for those new audiences? What's a good game plan for that? And then have all the other stuff in place, the funnels and everything.
So a lot of times when you are trying to expand into a new market, you may not know the pain points that they're having, or things like that. There are some sites out there, like one is called answerthepublic.com. That's one of my go-to places, man, because it's kind of like a search engine, but it's showing you the questions that are asked around certain topics. So if you
No.
ever need, like, this is my biggest place for lead magnet ideas. If somebody is actively searching, let's say I put in confidence, and they're looking to feel more confident in their life, and then it'll give me all the questions that they're asking. So I can use that language in my lead magnet to mirror their words back to them, because I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes that technical and industry jargon gets slipped in a little bit,
Yeah.
and we don't realize it all the time. So tools like Answer the Public will help you to see how people are searching in their own words. Also, Amazon reviews is a great place to get client verbiage. How they are using a product, how they because everyone will use it in a different way, even if it's solving the same problem. So Amazon reviews are great for that, and Quora, Quora. That is another place people are asking questions all the time, and you can even respond to them in there. But it gives you the language that your everyday audience is using.
Blow my mind, sister. Oh my God. After I didn't write it because I want to stay present and look at the
Yeah.
camera, right? Because that's part of the whole video experience for those that watch me on YouTube. So I didn't want to turn away and write, but let me tell you, when we hang up, I'm going to write them down. Blow my mind. Brilliant. See, this is the advantage with all of the automation, and how, because there's so many smart people out here that are refining these platforms and adding to these platforms. The brilliance is just so it's everywhere. I love it. So, oh my God. All right, we're out of time. But okay, so I hope people stay till the end, because that was brilliant. Those last three pieces of the Cura Amazon reviews. And what was the other one?
Answer the Public.
Answer to the public?
Answer the Public.
Answerthepublic.com.
Yep.
Love you. So
Yeah.
everybody, because here's the thing, usually, Rebecca, at the end, I say, information's a beautiful thing. If you do nothing with it, it's just information in your brain. Well, now you have 3 call to actions. Go on Cura, Amazon, and askthepublic.com.
Answer the Public. Yep.
Now you have 3 great tools out there. Okay. So
Yes.
in addition, I'm going to give you Rebecca's information, her email. If you have a question specific for her, please reach out. No question is a stupid question. Email is Rebecca@RebeccaBertoldi.com. I will put it in the show notes. Website, RebeccaBertoldi.com. And you have a gift, which is an algorithm. Can you tell everybody what that is? Because it's also cool.
Yeah. So algorithms, every platform we work with has algorithms, and they all have their own agenda, their own goals. And I created a training where we're going to kind of make algorithms fun a little bit. I've paired the different platforms with different TV characters. So classic ones that we've all seen 100 times. And really, it's going to tell you what the platforms are looking for. So if you align your content goals with their goals, you will get more organic reach.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay. So you have 4 good call to actions, everybody.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Yeah. So go to those websites, go to Rebecca's website as well. And I will put that gift, the algorithms gift. I'll put that link so you could go directly to it. Check it out. Listen, here's the deal. Even if you're an individual salesperson and you're doing email marketing for yourself or through your company or whatever it is, use these resources, because it'll help you dial in more directly with your messaging to the ideal client that is searching for you. We want those searching for us. We want to be out there so that the two can meet and connect. So again, use those resources Rebecca just shared. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I'm so glad you're a data nerd. This was all cool stuff, sister. I'm loving it.
I have so much fun sharing all these tools and stuff. It's always good for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And on the website, I know you have a bunch of affiliate links, right? You get little like 2 cents, right? Every time somebody
Yeah.
clicks on it. But here's the thing again, you're sharing the resources that you actually use.
Oh yeah.
So go on the website. She has links in there as well. If there's something specific that you're looking for. Rebecca has vetted all of these tools out. Otherwise, she does not promote. So I do the same thing. Like I promote books that they're like my Bibles, and I feel like
Mhm.
everybody should read them. So I am an affiliate for those books. You get like 2 cents. It's not a big deal. But I
Yeah.
want to make sure people are looking at good resources, right? Because I know I vetted them and I know you vetted them.
I pretty much made my affiliate link program anything that I was using all the time. So that's where it comes from. I don't typically just learn about something and put it out there. I have to use it first.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Again, it's relevant. And if it's relevant for you, other people will find benefit in that, right? Again, it's adding value. It's not just putting crap up there so I can make
Right.
2 cents, right? That's stupid. But if you're putting things that you really believe in, it's just good mojo, right? I just believe the more we
Definitely.
give, the more we get 100%. So,
And a
my
lot of
friend,
times it's lifetime deals. So they can save a lot of money. So like there's a Calendly replacement in there that you can pay, I think it's like $40 for the life and you never have to pay for it again, you know? So
wow.
I'm like the lifetime deal queen. I have over 100 of them and
That's great. Oh my
yeah.
God, you've got it. All right. I need you to talk me through some stuff. Listen, my friend, thank you so much. This was such
Thank
a
you.
good, it was a fun episode too, but I
Yeah.
feel like there was so much information. So I hope everybody actually goes back and listens, write down those websites, et cetera, that we talked about. This was important. Call to actions that were easy. They're easy lifts for people to continue on their journey of becoming, just dialing into that ideal client so that the sale just becomes so easy because they already know who you are so that you're legitimate, right? And then when you dial in and customize the solution for that client, the sale is just a no-brainer, right? We have to have everything working on all cylinders together. And I think you do such a great job of, getting people not only opening the door, but through the door so they actually have conversations with whatever you're selling, so that you can, again, customize those solutions for that ideal client. And we're off to the races. Everybody's winning when we start to fire on all cylinders like that. So thank you so much, my friend. What a great
Thank
episode. Yeah, really enjoyed this.
you. Awesome.
And I hope you will join me weekly as we question, build, and discover no matter where you are on changing your sales game. My guests and I, we have some pretty good ideas, hopefully that can guide you so that you change your sales game with such ease and grace, that you just up level your game easily and make more money and be able to serve bigger and help more people, right? That's what we're here to do, is help each other. All ships rise as the tide rises. And I believe in that mantra for sure. Rebecca,
Yeah.
thank you again. And thank you for tuning in. You've been listening to Changing the Sales Game with me, your host, Connie Whitman, on webtalkradio.com. I love you all. If you're loving us, please subscribe to the show and rate and review. I read the reviews, they truly warm my heart. I want to make sure that I continue to add relevant information out there. So, again, subscribe, review, so that I can read them because I do want to remain relevant. I am honored to have you on this journey of changing your sales game. Every week tuning in, that you trust my guests and I. That truly is a privilege. I love you all. I will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks again.